Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. So trackies, the Melrose Games is ablaze. I am telling you, we literally saw to start the program a jaw-dropping performance, and it didn't come in the event that you were probably thinking, trackies. It came in the least likely. Well, I can't. Well, should I say least likely? Since the women have been on fire, maybe not, but still, it was definitely not expected. And track is these women came out and they utterly, had a fabulous race. But one woman in particular had a superb race, had me wondering what was going on. Now, what am I talking about, track is? Let's start with the women's 60-meter hurdles. Oh my gosh, Devynne Charlton from Bahamas. Shaki, she's been on fire all season. Now, I talked about that 7.75 that she's run so far before she had the world lead, right? And then she lost it to Tia Jones. And I was like, look here, in this race, I believe it is going to be between Tia Jones and Devine Charlton. But track is what, was awaiting us in this race. I don't think anybody could predict because Devin got out and literally left everybody for dead in the race. And I was like, okay, is everybody else running slow? What's going on here? You know what I mean? And I'm watching her pull away from this field and of course do, that phenomenal dip that hurdlers tend to do. And I'm like, okay, okay, what's going on? Let me see the time. Let me see the time. Then the time pops up and I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. And then of course you see everybody congratulating her new world record. Now Devine Charlton ran a fabulous 7.67 seconds track is to shatter the world record, a 16-year-old world record. Devin Charlton wiped it out today, left everybody or laid everybody to rest in that race. It was absolutely phenomenal. Again, as I said, she's been having the season of her life so far indoors, running faster and faster. And this time around, track is she literally did the ultimate, breaking that world record. I was utterly impressed. Her race looked perfect from gun to tape. Again, to me, I was kind of wondering, is everybody else going slow? What's going on? You know what I mean? So how much she, pulled away from that field. It was exceptional. It was an exceptional run. Now behind her in second place was, believe it or not, Daniel Williams. Now I talked about, Daniel and Akira potentially placing third and fourth in this race because I did have the race being between Tia and Devine. But Daniel definitely stepped up, running a season's best 7.79 seconds. Absolutely phenomenal run as well. So nobody think the girls behind were running slow. Devine was just running super, super fast. You know what I mean? So Daniel running 7.79 seconds. Absolutely phenomenal run for her. In third place was Tia Jones. She ran 7.79 as well. Now they were clearly separated by the thousands. And just 1/100th of a thousand outside third place was Akira Nugent, 7.80 seconds. So another season's best for her. I believe based on the times that the Jamaicans were running coming into this race, this is a definitely superb performance for them because they weren't coming in, anywhere close to Devin or Tia based on the performances that they did, prior. But they definitely stepped up the plate and definitely ran super fast in this race. And I'm proud of them. And, I can't wait to see, as the races, as they continue to race, how much faster they'll get. And if, potentially anybody can, challenge Devine. No, I know Daniel is not going to the World Indoor Championships, right? But maybe we might see Akira, throw her hat in the ring right there. So it'll be interesting to see what Akira can do there. And, for her personal best is 7.72. So I'm eager to see that. Now, we also did have Megan Tapper in the race, and she finished seventh, running 7.98 seconds. Finally, dipping into sub 8 seconds in the 60-meter hurdles. So overall, track is, I would say, great race from our Jamaican athletes. Each athlete, definitely improved on their prior performances. And also phenomenal run from Devine Charlton for a new 60-meter world record, taking down a 16-year-old record. Absolutely phenomenal from her. And of course, congratulations are in order for Devine Charlton. And of course, Bahamas. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but definitely you take my hat off. Take my hat off to y'all today. Right now, moving on to the men's 60-meter hurdles finals. Now, this race didn't really go to, as it relates to what, we saw on paper based on the athletes in the race. Again, no track is when going in, I was definitely looking at Daniel Roberts, Trey Cunningham, and of course Cardell Tinge. Those athletes for me would have been the top three. Didn't go that way. Dylan Beard came out practically nowhere, running a personal best and a facility record, running 7.74 seconds to walk away with the win here. Phenomenal run from him. He was on the inside lane, lane one. I believe, but sometimes when you're out of traffic, you tend to have your best races, and I think that's probably what happened for him. He was out of the noise, out there in lane one and just did his thing. Did a good execution. He said he tripped, off the last hurdle, so he hopes to have a better execution next time around. But still, absolutely phenomenal run from him. This was a 7.74. That's super fast in the hurdles, right? Then behind him were the three guys that I mentioned now. So Daniel, Trey Cunningham, and Cardell Tinch, 751, 752, and 752. They're literally, in a blanket behind Daniel Beard or Dylan Beard, sorry. And then, of course, our Jamaicans also in the race. I did have them, taking up the rear end of this race based on their performances and who was in the race. And pretty much that's what happened. That Damian Thomas, the best of our Jamaicans, he finished fifth, 7.64 seconds. In seventh was Orlando Bennett, 7.76 seconds. And in eighth was Jenna Roberts, 7.80 seconds. Now for Orlando Bennett, this is a personal best for him. That's 7.76 seconds. Now we're moving on to the women's 60-meter final. This again for me, the race was pretty much sewn up as it relates to first place, right? And I definitely had Julian Alfred coming here and walking away with the win. I did talk about being not impressed with her first 60-meter out, and now this is the Julian that I was looking forward to see. A Julian I expected to come out and be challenging that 7-second barrier, running sub 7 seconds, and she did just that in this race, shattering the world lead, running 6.99 seconds. And, also turns out to be a meeting record, facility record, and as I said, a world lead for Julian Alfred. Clearly, this is not her fastest. She's the second fastest ever in the 60-meter distance. So this is well within her capability. Like seeing her times come down. Can't wait to see what she does at the World Indoor Championships. Again, I keep assuming that she's going. So let's see what happens there. Great run behind her for Sasha Lee Forbes. I did have Sasha Lee Forbes and Brianna. I believe that they could have taken up in top three, right? So Sasha Lee finishing second, running 7.14 seconds. And then in third was Destiny Smith Barnett, running 7.16 seconds. Sasha Lee was 7.14 seconds. I don't know if I said that time correctly, right? And then no, Brianna was in fourth, running 7.25 seconds. So on the back of her cramp, this for me is a good opening run for her, 7.25 seconds. Let's see her go from strength to strength. Sasha Lee Forbes remaining very consistent in that 7-1 realm, that low 7-1 realm, 7-1-0, 7-1-1, 7-1-4. So she's been very, very consistent. I did see, her putting the effort in this race. I was actually expecting her to potentially get a faster time. It was 7.14, but still a good performance from her. And of course, Julian overall for me would have been the dominant force in this race. No, I don't think anything changed after. Can't wait to see what she does outdoors. It's interesting. I was listening to a particular coverage and they were like, look here, Julian is going to walk away with somebody's medal in Tokyo. And I said, I wonder whose medal, because Julian doesn't have to worry about going to a trials. She's done and dusted, going to be going for St. Lucia. Nobody's going to ask that question ever, right? So the question now becomes, there are three medals. Who was this commentator saying Julian is going to steal medals from? Very, very interesting. But anyway, Chucky is jumping on to the final event. This was the men's 60 meters. For me in this race, it was definitely between Ackeem Blake and Christian Coleman. No, track is interestingly, right before the race went off, there was a false start, and this is important as it relates to my take on what transpired after. Now, Christian Coleman walked away with the win, running 6.51 seconds. This is his first 60 out, so this time is good enough, for the win. He didn't need to do anything much, didn't need to dip, comfortable win for him. Now, what happened behind? Now, Hakeem Sunny Brown was second, equaling his PB, running a 6.54 seconds, and then Ackeem Blake was third, running 6.55 seconds. Now, interesting for me, when I looked back at the race, I thought that Ackeem Blake, was was potentially probably affected by the first false start. Now we know he has had his issues with false starts, and I felt like he sat in the blocks because that pop that you saw from him, last week when he was running against Noah Lyles was not there in this second go around in this race, right? So clearly, the start wasn't firing. Maybe he decided, okay, let's sit in, make sure that, I get my race out and I don't false start. I'm thinking that's probably what happened as to why, he wasn't, challenging Christian Coleman, because I believe if he got that start that, he typically gets, then he could definitely have taken this race. Also, he was coming back, towards the end of the race, which clearly tells you that, the strength is there also. The start just did like it typically does, right? And then for the rest of the Jamaicans, we had Ryan Ford. He ran a time of 6.60 seconds, equaling his recently set personal best. And then we had Shakur Williams placing sixth, running 6.61 seconds. So fourth, fifth, sixth, through to seventh actually was a very well through all the way through eight was a very, very close race, right? Track is, but with that said, that is the recent updates I have for you all as it relates. So, are my thoughts, you could say, review on the Melrose Games. Let me know what you thought about the races. Like the video, of course, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.